my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Y'all, thank you guys for being here. Shout out to my father. I do this for you, Pops. What's up? Hey, I know you guys could be anywhere else right now, but instead you're in here kicking it with me. Thank you guys for giving the show a chance. Thank you guys for being here every single day, 5 o'clock Eastern. If you can't catch the show live and you catch a replay on YouTube, I appreciate you just the same. You guys make this all possible, okay? We're going to jump right into it. You guys know the format of the show. I spend about the first 20 or 30 minutes or so talking about what's trending in the world of sports. And then I take your guys' questions, right? Q&A. And shout out to everybody who hates on me, who thinks I'm a Google monster, who thinks, oh, Rico doesn't know anything. He makes his videos, he puts takes in them, and then he just keeps Google searching things, and that's how he knows his answers. Well, if you've come and you've seen the show in person, you guys know I go 2 or 3 hours, and I just talk about everybody and everything. And it's all up here. And if I have to Google something, I let you know. I do it in front of you. But everything we've ever learned in this world, we learned it by reading it somewhere. That is just how it is. You either learn it by reading it, experiencing it, or witnessing it. You know, you don't have to experience. I don't have to eat shit to know it tastes bad. I can watch somebody else do it, right? You can learn from other people's mistakes. And if you ever wanted to learn from somebody's mistakes, I'm going to tell you right now, let's start learning from Sam Williams' mistakes. Let's learn from this young man. He keeps making mistake after mistake after mistake. So this is a Dallas Cowboys second-round draft pick coming out of Ole Miss last year. He contributed in about 15 games. And if you're curious, if you're like, Rico, 15 games? I thought there was 17 games in a season. There was, but he had to miss one due to a concussion. How did he get a concussion? Well, he was in a car accident. He totaled his vehicle on his way to the practice facility. Oh, wow. How fast was he going? 100 miles an hour in a 55. Shout out to Georgia. So he totaled his car. He got a charge for reckless driving. Probably, to me, it's ridiculous. And then this time, after the preseason game, he gets arrested on multiple charges. He gets arrested on charges from having unlawfully carrying a weapon. In the state of Texas, it's a misdemeanor. No big deal. You can have a weapon, but if you do and you're not supposed to have it, it's just a misdemeanor. And then he had some drugs. And his drugs were not that of marijuana. They were another controlled substance. So he's probably facing 2 misdemeanors, some fines, and he'll be fine. But the NFL's policy, their player policy, their conduct policy, they don't play that. He might see another suspension. This man might not play a full game. I'll say this. He's not as bad as Randy Gregory. Okay? He's not as bad as Randy Gregory. But if you don't remember, Sam Williams was in a fight at practice. He was trying to pick a fight with somebody. And he went to pick a fight, went to take a swing on a dude as he was walking away, and Sam Williams got absolutely bodied. Go to Twitter. Look it up. The man gets body slammed. This is a guy, I think he's 6'4", 260. Does it have his height and weight in this story? It's got to have his height weight in here somewhere. Hold on one second. 6'4", 265, and you watch him get ragdolled in an instant by one of the offensive linemen. It's hilarious. Okay? Hilarious. So Sam Williams having a bad week. The only person having a worse week than Sam Williams, Trey Lance. If you didn't hear, Trey Lance has been declared the third-string quarterback for the 49ers. What? Trey Lance is the third-string quarterback for the 49ers. What a bust. What a bum. You can be mad at me for saying it, but it's pretty clear. When you're drafted number 3 overall, you should have starter potential. You shouldn't be competing with a 7th-round draft pick and fighting for your depth chart spot with a guy named Sam Darnold, a dude who looks like Shrek. Okay? Let me tell you something about Trey Lance. This is going to go down as one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL. Trey Lance, legitimately, the worst draft pick in the history of the NFL. I know, he was 3rd overall. But Rico, Jamarcus Russell went 1st overall. Yeah, there's a difference here. The 49ers gave up 3 first-round draft picks and a 2nd-round draft pick. No, a 3rd-round draft pick. I apologize. 3 first and a 3rd to draft this guy, and he amounted to jack shit, bro. I'm serious. One of the worst draft pick in recent memory. I know. I told you. Isaiah Land is a bust. Isaiah Land played 1 snap of football, and he's out of the NFL. He played 1 snap on like an extra point. That was a Georgia Bulldog who got drafted in the 1st round, 29th overall. But nobody traded up to get Isaiah. Nobody traded up to Isaiah Thomas. What did I say? Isaiah Land? Whoa. You guys know what I mean. But listen. Isaiah Wilson. Whoa. Am I just throwing names out there? Holy smokes. Let's throw some names out there, though. What happened to those 3 picks? Those 3 first-rounders they traded away. What happened to them? Well, let me tell you. The first one enabled the Cowboys to draft Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons? Yep. It went to the Dolphins, to the Eagles, and then it went to Dallas, and Dallas was able to get Micah Parsons with that draft pick. 49ers, you could have drafted Micah Parsons instead of Trey Lance. The next year, Cole Strange. Now, he wasn't great starting, but he did start. Cole Strange, he started 17 games for the Patriots in his first season. That's another first-round pick that they lost. The Patriots took Cole Strange. He started every game. He's not great, but hey, man, he started every game. Then there's the linebacker from Georgia, Channing Tindall. He's a special teamer, no big deal. And then this year, Brian Breesy getting drafted to the Saints. That was the first-round pick that the Broncos had to trade to the Saints for Sean Payton. It's been a lot of musical chairs here. But long story short, you give up all these guys, a Hall of Fame potential player in Micah Parsons. You give up all these guys for your third-string quarterback? They got to cut this dude. Trey Lance, they're looking for a trade partner right now. They can't find anyone willing to trade. I wonder why. What kind of draft capital would you give up for Trey Lance? Just let me know. I want to know. Shout out to the 49ers for being terrible at drafting. I told everybody this, and everybody freaked out on me. Oh, my God, how dare you say they're terrible at drafting? They got their starting quarterback in the first round. They got Bosa. They started listing all these players they drafted correctly. And I go, bro, Trey Lance, you gave up 3 first-rounders for Trey Lance? Are you kidding me? And you want to be called great? If you're great, you take Brock Purdy earlier. I'll be impressed. You found him and you took him when no one else wanted him. You got lucky. You lucked into a starter. They could have had anybody. You know what's worse? They took a kicker in the 3rd round this year. They're so bad at drafting, they took a kicker in the 3rd round this year. You can't do it. They're not going to get, for Trey Lance, they're not going to get a 5th rounder. They're not getting a 5th rounder for Trey Lance. You can't trade Trey Lance for a 5th round football player. You can't do it. You just can't. I'm letting you guys know now. And in shocking news, your boy, Corey Davis, another NFL draft bust, has retired. Corey Davis decided at the age of 28 he's done. He's stepping away. If you guys don't remember, Corey Davis, wide receiver, coming out of Western Michigan, had a ton of stats coming out of college. Corey Davis coming out, what was he, the 5th pick overall? I got to go back and look. Corey Davis, only 273 receptions. It wasn't a complete bust. But I'd imagine he's not where he wanted to be on the depth chart or on the utilization chart. Said he fell out of love with the game. He's been wondering what he's going to do. This guy doesn't talk to the media a lot. Keeps it close to the chest. So all I'm going to say is it sucks because I'm always pulling for group of 5 guys. Pause. I'm always supporting group of 5 wide receivers and players. And to see a group of 5 guy go that high in the draft, not quite live up to the hype, but man, I wish he played more. And he's calling it a day at 28. Could have got paid for the next 5 years. And everybody goes, well, you know, he's going to save your health. It's all about your health. What the hell is he going to do, though? Like, what is he going to do? Like, Miles Jack just retired. You guys know what Miles Jack said he was going to do? This is Miles Jack, a 2nd-round draft pick coming out of UCLA, the last notable player that I can remember playing both sides of the ball in college football. He was the Pac-12 offensive and defensive freshman of the year. This man played running back and linebacker at UCLA. He was a stud. And Miles Jack came to the NFL. He's been playing for a while. He just retired, and he said he's going to be a plumber. Miles Jack said he's going to be a plumber. You guys, listen. And everybody started ripping me. Rico, you don't know how much plumbers make. No, I know how much plumbers make. My father is a finished carpenter. My father hung doors and shot bass for a living. I worked construction every weekend in summer. Don't talk to me, bro. I've been shooting nail guns since I was 9 years old. I'm this little Mexican kid unloading the truck, turning on air compressors, and going out there and shooting on bass on houses, shooting on closets, and doing hardware. Who are you talking to? I've been on construction sites my whole life. This is not the life you want. Blue-collar work? And I said, man, I know being a plumber is a shitty job. It was a pun on words, bro. It was a play on words. Hey, oh, Rico, it's not. What are you talking about? We make a lot of money, plumbers, man. We make a lot. No, you don't, bro. You get called to come in and deal with my shit. It's a terrible job. Own the business. Cool. Doing the work, being the guy that knocks on the door, stop it. It's a terrible existence. I don't want to wake up any day and smell anybody's feces and try to unclog the drain filled with your wife's hair, the gross hair going down the drain, the almighty hair on the wall. It's gross. And all you ladies, stop shedding. I don't know who you are. I'm just letting you know. Hey, Christian Gonzalez left practice today with an ominous injury. I hope he's okay. Yesterday, you guys asked me, is he going to be the top corner in the NFL this year? And I told you no. I don't think he's the top corner right now. The top rookie corner, I don't even think he's the top. He was 3rd on my draft board. But more importantly, Christian Gonzalez getting injured. This is why I don't make predictions like that. This is why I don't guess at shit, guys. You can get injured tomorrow. And then I'll look like, oh, Rico didn't know. Rico didn't know. Man, I know everything. Stop it. I don't know you. And shout out to the bums who keep making hateful videos on TikTok and then accusing me of reporting them. Guys, I don't have time to report your videos. I'm not concerned with you. Half you guys get nervous around women, bro. You guys have stretch marks on your chin and get nervous around women. Don't bother me. Just don't do it. Shout out to Oregon State. They finally named DJ Angele the starting quarterback. Look, we knew this was going to happen. I'm not surprised. I saw a guy, and shout out to CF Budge. He was posting videos on TikTok saying DJ Angele wasn't going to be the starter. And he was hoping to strike, hoping to hit it. Let me tell you, man, you missed. You missed. Hey, speaking of missing, you know what? I'm going to do something right now. I've been watching the World Championships in track, and if you watch the results here, and you go to those 400 hurdles, the men 400 hurdles, the results came out already. Let me hit refresh. They came out a couple minutes ago. And when you look, you see Dos Santos there? Shout out to Aaron Brown. Hey, Aaron Brown, he covers track on TikTok. Aaron Brown stopped following me. I kept tagging him and calling him out. Everything he said, he missed. Every prediction he made, he missed. And I just kept tagging him in videos. No hate, no shade. Just if you're gonna make predictions, I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna be right because I'm Rico and I know everything. That man said Dos Santos is winning gold. Dos Santos just ran his PR. He's in great shape, doing his fake crying in all his videos, and the man stopped following me. Talk about dodging me, bro. Talk about not being able to face the music when you miss. That's crazy. By the way, Rai Benjamin got a bronze. Disappointing, but we'll take it. Thank you for another medal. But we know who didn't miss. Rico. I didn't miss. Shout out to me. I'm gonna get tired patting myself on the back. We'll get to the rest of that. Hey, Georgia, I've been telling you your running back room's a problem. I've been telling you your running back room's a problem all off season. You guys have all been responding. Rico, we got NFL caliber running backs. Which one? Which one? Because your last starter last year was a 7th-round draft pick. So which one? Oh, Branson Robinson. Have you seen him? There's a hype video on him. Rico, you got to go to YouTube and watch his highlights. We got a video where he's flexing and doing all this stuff. Branson Robinson, done for the year, ruptured patella tendon. It's unfortunate he's injured. But what's more unfortunate is the fans will be in denial and just ignore the fact that they're going after their 3rd and 4th and 5th string running back and saying, this is our best guy. We're good. We got this guy. We got this guy. Dude, you don't have pros on the bench. You don't have NFL players on the bench. Not at Georgia, not at Bama. Did you guys all ignore it? Like Bama, they're going, Rico, you don't know who we got. Yeah, I do. C.J. Dippre just hit the transfer portal, the backup tight end from Maryland, and you signed him. And you're telling me he's the starter. So the backup tight end at Maryland can start at your school, can start for your team. Cameron Latow was the 3rd-round pick that's about to get cut by the 49ers because they're terrible drafters. And they're like, well, he scored a touchdown. He's going to stay now. Okay, keep him. He's borderline NFL. The players on these teams are not good. They miss in recruiting all the time. If you think your entire bench are NFL players, then the 20 players that left Bama this offseason in the transfer portal, they had 22 guys hit the portal. Are all 22 of them NFL caliber players? Is that what it is? Explain that to me. Like when I look at Georgia's bench, I don't see NFL players anywhere. Not when the starter's a 7th rounder. If your starting running back is a 7th-round running back and the other 2 guys behind him are injury-prone, been injured all offseason, shout out to Kendall Milton. Kendall Milton, obviously Robinson's been dealing with turf toe. Now he's got this. He's out for the whole year. Oh, Rico, we got Paul. Paul's coming back. Yeah, that dude who missed all last year with an ACL injury? No. Oh, we got Roderick Robinson. Yeah, you do. You got an incoming freshman. Get excited. It blows my mind that you guys are just in denial about this shit. Georgia's running back room. Soft. Terrible. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Not going to get it done. I'm letting you know now. Look at this. Look at this depth chart right here. Dwan Edwards, Rico. Hey, Rico, do you know Dwan Edwards? Do you know Dwan Edwards? You know where he's from? But, dude, I watched all these guys play in high school. I don't know him personally. I hope he's doing better. I can tell you this. He's been at Georgia the whole time and never once broke the 2 deep. That's how good he is. He couldn't break the 2 deep over a 7th rounder. Kendall Milton. That's the sound I'm going to make. Get these guys off my damn TV. Hey, shout out to Arizona State. Kenny Dillingham got some stones on him, bro. Got some stones on him. Said Jaden Rashada is our starting quarterback. That's wild. First off, somebody asked me about this yesterday. They already knew the story. I didn't see it, so I want to apologize because the first thing I said was, oh, Rashada's not playing. That dude's got a red shirt. You can't waste a year of eligibility on Rashada, not with all the quarterbacks you got on your team right now, because they got 3 other guys that should be starting at the FBS level. They literally have 3 other quarterbacks. They had a 4th one, and he transferred. He was supposed to go to Charlotte, and then he flipped at the last second. Where did he go? Can't remember where he went. What the hell? I have to look it up. But they have so many quarterbacks at Arizona State. And they went with Rashada. That's amazing. 5-star quarterback starting on day 1. Hasn't happened in a while. Shout out to JT Daniels. I'm proud of him. I hope he plays well. Hope he gets his money's worth. He's been looking for that $14 million payout, if you guys don't remember. But shout out to Jaden Rashada. Hey, you guys want to see a funny-ass thing? This title says, we're not going through USADA. Junior Dos Santos is 39 years old. Okay? Junior Dos Santos is 39 years old, and he looks the best he's ever looked in his life. He's getting ready to fight. Fabricio Verdum. Remember, the W's are V's and a bunch of different shit going on with Portuguese. But they're going to fight under the Game Bread boxing banner. Shout out to Game Bread. I can't stand him. What's the secret? He says, I'm putting in great work, and we're not going through USADA. If you guys don't know, USADA is United States Anti-Doping Agency. That means we're doing illegal substances. He says, it's great because I can take all my pre-workouts, I can take my fat burning, I can take my supplements, and it's been great. I'm feeling great. I'm eating good. I've always taken care of my health. Bruh, that's wild. That's wild. These guys are getting ready to fight for some other stuff. That's crazy. And they're going to be out there, no monitoring. They're so torn apart. These guys they said the standards are too strict. I need to enjoy my quote-unquote vitamins. Have you popped your vitamins, brother? Have you popped your vitamins? That's the way I got this big, was vitamins. That's wild. Hey, so check this out. I don't do rumors, but I'm going to do this one. And then I'll get to the chat. 3 schools are under serious consideration for the ACC. ACC is looking to expand, and there's 3 schools. One of them really sticks out to me. Forget Cal and Stanford. Everybody talking about Cal and Stanford. The third one is SMU. Now, everybody's got SMU going to the Pac-12. Obviously, that doesn't seem ideal. SMU's trying to get to the Power 5 level, and they're saying, hey, we'll just go to the ACC instead. Now, this is what intrigues me. SMU is willing, it says right here, financial models currently under consideration. Significant financial concessions. For those of you who don't know, yes, concessions are your drinks at the movies. Got it. But when you concede something, you're giving it up. So what financial concessions is SMU giving up to join the ACC? Why would the ACC want SMU? Well, let me tell you. SMU is reportedly showed a willingness to take no broadcast revenue for the first 7 seasons. What? I'm willing to move in with you. And I'm not going to take any money from you for 7 years. Holy smokes. Do you know what all the other teams are thinking? They're cool with that shit all day. Come on over, bruh. Come on over. You're not going to take any broadcast revenue for 7 years? It sounds like a nightmare for SMU. But SMU is okay with this, man. They'll do anything to get into the Power 5. And they're willing to pay their way into it. SMU is in the heart of Dallas, y'all. They got money for days. They ain't worried about a damn thing. They won't get any revenue from the TV contract? What? That doesn't mean they won't play on TV. That means they will be playing on TV, but they don't take any money from the revenue. They're going to just come up. They'll fundraise their $21 million they're missing, right? They'll fundraise the missing $28 million, $30 million. They're nuts. They're not getting fleeced. They're doing this shit to themselves. They want in. They need a conference that wants them. And they're pissed at the Big 12. Big 12's been expanding, and all those old teams from the days of the Southwest Conference, from the Big 8 in the Southwest, they left SMU in the dust. Never forget that, guys. In the 90s, the Southwest Conference was everything in the Midwest of America. The Southwest Conference was the conference. And when Arkansas left the Southwest to go to SEC, that's what broke up that conference. At that point, they said, hey, let's combine with the Big 8 and let's make the Big 12. And they left TCU out, they left Houston, and they left SMU out. And over the years, TCU's moved, everybody went to the WAC initially, then the Mountain West, and now they're in the Big 12, right? TCU's already been there. Houston just got there. They're leaving SMU out. They're just not in that circle of friends. So SMU says, bump that. We got to get to the Power 5 somehow, some way. This has been going on for 30 years. That death penalty that SMU got took away their opportunity to be competitive and actually make it to the Power 5. That death penalty had 40 years of ramifications. That's insane. That was not intended by the NCAA. They didn't want to do that to them. They did. They didn't realize what they were doing. When they took away all their scholarships, told them they couldn't be on TV for 2 years, it got them to have to only get walk-ons. And in 91 was the first time they got their full team back. And by 94, nobody was interested in them. 93, 94, that's when Arkansas departed. Nobody was interested in them at that point. You can go fact check all this. I'm sitting here Googling, right? When no one's looking. Moron. Hey, Rico doesn't know anything. Go fact check it, bro. I'll be right. Look at this. Hey, read this, bro. I didn't write this. I just saw this right now. Meet running back Lamar Jackson's girlfriend. First off, anybody dating this dude, this is an awful-looking man. Let's be real, all right? Game recognized game. This is not a good-looking dude. I can tell you when there's a good-looking dude on TV. I was just looking at pictures of Reggie Bush all day today. Good-looking man. Not a good-looking dude. So his girlfriend's probably after some money. But, my God, they called him a running back. Who's doing this? I'm not clicking on it. RetroPay. It's an ad. It's clickbait. I don't deal with clickbait. All right, let's get to the chat. Thank you, guys. Hey, if you're on TikTok and you're trying to send me questions, I don't see it, bro. I'm not looking down there. Got to move over to YouTube. Throw us a like before you get in, and then you can ask the questions. I always answer the questions. Right now, we got about 123 people watching. Shout out to you guys, but we need more. We always want more. I think our peak yesterday was about 150, 160. Let's go. Steve Talbot, one of my moderators, he puts it out there for you guys so you all understand. Go to RicoKnows.org. You can find the merch, and you can see everything else. Somebody asked me today, hey, Rico, can you add a shirt to your merchandise? And can you have the shirt say, Anthony Richardson could never? That's the shirt. Anthony Richardson could never, ... and then Rico Knows on the back. Because every time I'm reviewing high school football film, I see a quarterback, and I just go, man, he's better than Anthony Richardson right now. I feel that way. So, what player, Evan Kramer's up first. Evan Kramer says, what player on Jacksonville State, wait, let me go back up here. Ask questions only once. Make sure we know that. Okay. And if you go to TikTok and you search hashtag Rico Knows, hashtag your favorite team's name, you're going to find every video I've ever made on them. And there's a lot. Now, back to this question from Evan Kramer. Evan Kramer, a follower of the channel, loyal follower. I know this man just off name alone. He says, who are you most excited about watching on Saturday that plays for Jacksonville State? If you guys didn't know, Jacksonville State, moving from the FCS to the FBS, head coach, Rich Rodriguez. Rich Rodriguez is the head coach of Jacksonville State. Shout out to him. But if I was to talk about Jacksonville State, what I would tell you guys is their entire team is transfers. It really is. Like, everybody who starts for them, for the most part, except for the quarterback, transfers. And there's one transfer I'm way excited about, and it's Gerard Bowie. Gerard Bowie, a Division II transfer Used to play, you guys know Tyson Bagent, the quarterback everybody keeps talking about from the preseason? Tyson Bagent, Division II Shepherd, right? Tyson Bagent was in high school in West Virginia, right down the street from Shepherd. Forgetting the name of the city right now. It escapes me. It starts with an M. I'll know when I see it. Not Mansfield. Doesn't matter. The point is Gerard Bowie was his wide receiver. Gerard Bowie's so nice. I was watching the film on Tyson Bagent in preparation for the NFL draft. I'm watching the film, and, I'm watching quarterbacks throw balls. And I'm watching him throw to this little guy. It was like his sophomore year. And I go, what? Who's that kid? And so I went back and watched more film and started searching for Gerard Bowie. And he followed his high school coach to another school, Division II school, but he was a Division II All-American this year. And then he hit the transfer portal, and he ends up at Jacksonville State. He's way down the depth chart according to everybody. I don't know where he's at. I'm excited to see him play. I want to see him on the field. I know he's number 9 on the roster. That's a guy I'm excited for. When I look at them, though, Quinton Lane is another guy. Wide receiver, Quinton Lane, stud, transfer coming in. I think he's coming in from an FCS school. I just see a lot of young guys getting a chance. Sterling Galbin is one more that I can remember right now off the top of my head. But I'm excited about some skill players. When I watch the games, I just know everybody, so I'm excited about every time the ball goes anywhere. Pause. What's good? What up, Corey Flores? Hope you're having an amazing day, my guy, spreading positivity like always. I definitely am. Corey Flores says, hope everyone in this chat is having an amazing day as well. Thank you for being positive. TTG Gaming says, leaving on the 5th for the Army. Any advice? Yeah, you're leaving on the 5th. What's today? The 23rd. Every single day from now until the 5th, I want you to get down on the floor, and I want you to just start doing push-ups. And when you do your push-ups, I want you to do them fast, fierce, like hard, and take no breaks. Meaning don't stay in the locked out position, slowing down. No, just go as fast as you can, fast twitch muscles, all the way up, all the way down. They'll correct you. The Army don't play that. You got to go all the way up, all the way down. And I want you to just go ham. And when you do that, I want you to just take a break when you can't do any more. And you'll get your average. You'll find out, man, I can do 30. I can do 33. I can do 21. I can do 28. Every single day, I want you to just get down, boom, 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 boom. I used to do it before bed. Just shh. And you'll notice your average goes way up if you just do it once a day. Your average goes through the roof. Eventually, one night you'll be tired, you'll do 48. One night you'll do 60. One night you'll do 70. You want to do this every single day. I'm a first sergeant in the Army, been in the Army over 20 years. Trust me. Push-ups and run. That's it. Push-ups, running, and jumping jacks. That's how we won 2 world wars. We won 2 world wars on jumping jacks, running, and some push-ups, bro. We don't need all this CrossFit. We don't need all this calisthenics. Do some push-ups, go running. Ask Germany how it felt. Ginger Roberts, what up, girl? Thank you for being here. Ginger Roberts, longtime follower, one of my day ones on TikTok. Thank you for finding the YouTube. Brandon Carl says, hey, Rico, you think Tank is going to get many reps this year? Which Tank? I need to know. Tank Bigsby, Tank Dell. I love both of them. They were both on my top 10 list for each position group. I had Tank Bigsby at 6 or 4 on my initial running back ranks, and Tank Dell was my number 1 wide receiver and still is. Brandon Manzilla says, over under 72 hours until Trey Lance gets cut. Whew. Give me the over. Give me the over on that, Brandon. Give me the over, but he doesn't belong on the 49ers at all. Steve Talbot says, not the same without Willie Bobo. Willie Bobo, my number 1 fan. DeGuilo says, what happened with Sam Williams? Well, he got arrested. If you want to know anything else, rewind the podcast, rewind the live stream, start it over, go to your playback speed, put it at 1.25 speed. Put it at 1.5 speed, and watch the show. And eventually you'll catch back up with me, and you can see everything that you missed. I will now only refer to Sam Darnold as Shrek. Shout out to you, Evan Kramer. That's what I see when I see him. He's got this big block head. He just looks weird. Steve Talbot says, will AR-15 go down as a worst pick? Questions of the universe. I think no, because AR-15 is actually starting games. And people are going to let him start and develop and give him time to be who he is. So, no, he won't be a worst pick. But I don't see – Trey Lance is terrible. They're both in the same boat. They're both the same to me. Missouri, most underrated team this year. Hammer the over 6.5. The champ Chuck, the champ Chuck. You're saying Missouri's winning 6.5. Let me pull it up, bro. I think I've done this before, but let me pull it up. Missouri football. Yeah, I've done it. It's in purple, bro. I've already looked at this. This is not going to go well for you. 6.5. It's already in purple, bro. We've already looked at this. Oh, I just talked about this the other day. They're going to win, lose, win. That's 3 wins. 4 wins, and I never see you again. Missouri with 4 wins and never again. Missouri wins 4 games this year. At max, 6. That's if Arkansas drop. I don't see that happening. And maybe they can beat Kentucky. No, I don't see it, bro. You're hoping they beat K-State? Okay. Let's say they beat K-State. That's 5 wins. Max 6 wins. What's the 6.5? Hammer the under on Missouri. I don't give betting advice. I don't give financial advice. But if Missouri has a 6.5 win, hammer the under. Hammer it with 2 hands and a double fisted. Oh my goodness. 6.5 is what they're giving them? Have you looked at their schedule? Are they going to beat Florida? Is that what the plan is? They're beating Florida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6. Where are you getting that 7th game? Tripping, bruh. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves coming in here and just giving random stuff. That's nuts. The Eagles traded that pick for the 10 to get Devontae Smith, so they could have had him too. Yeah, let them do their thing. They got what they wanted. Rate my fantasy squad. A.T. Francis, if you've already drafted your fantasy squad before the end of the preseason, I can't mess with you. Anybody doing fantasy football drafts before the preseason ends doesn't know what they're doing. There are injuries. There are surprise cuts. Not having it, bro. I don't get down like that. No way. 49ers could have had, that list goes on. Yep. Noah Lyles is him. Shout out to Seth. Did Noah Lyles win his prelim? He had a heat in the 200. Clicking on it now. Let me go see. Zharnel Hughes. I told you guys Zharnel Hughes is my pick in the 200 as well. He medaled in the 100. I told everybody about Zharnel Hughes, the fastest man from a small island, running in 1999. Anything under 20 in these first rounds is great. You see 3 seasons best here for these guys. They're all running out of their mind right now. Good for them. Got 2 time qualifiers in this heat. Everybody else is just going to be top 3. Noah Lyles, 20:05. Cool. Jogging. Shout out to Andrew Hudson. Masick, I'm looking. Some season best down here. They don't matter. Tobogo's in great shape. Probably jogging. Shout out to Joseph Famboule. Famboule, if you guys ever want to watch Joseph Famboule run, used to run it at Florida. He's running for Liberia now. What I'll tell you guys is he's the fastest in the last 50, 60 meters of a 200. He is just roaring down the home stretch, but he's so slow out the blocks, runs a terrible curve. But, man, is he fast roaring down the home stretch. He can finish. If you're close to him, he's going to run you down. Anybody. He's faster than anybody in the last 60 meters. It's weird. He's just he looks like a racehorse the way he's running. He's killing it. And shout out to Liberia. If you guys didn't know, Liberia's capital, Monrovia, named after President Monroe, who was sending people back to Africa. They were going to Liberia to get liberated. And I've done a lot of research on Liberia. They don't have a lot of toilets. They shit on the beach out there. Anyways, other people in the 200. Sean Maswangani, Houston's finest. He runs for Houston, also representing South Africa. We'll see what he does. He's going to be slow. He's not going to be in contention at all. That's fine. Courtney Lindsey. Remember, I told you guys, Texas Tech. I think they're all drugging at the right time, and that's why they look so fast towards the end of the season. Hopefully he does well. This is your NCAA representative and champ. Shout out to him. Aaron Knighton being a young stud. That's our guy. Andre DeGrasse, USC's finest and probably the best runner in Canadian history. He's been doing great for many, many years. Tortu used to be the fastest little Italian dude you'll ever see. Shout out to him and not qualifying. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Bednarik. Kinney, Kung Fu Kinney. He made it. That's good. We need all our Americans in there. I'll take it. Shout out to De Silva, not making it. Cool. Some people out here jogging. I'll go back and watch all these races. Noah Lyles is him. That's great. But it's just the first round. We got a lot more rounds to go. We'll see what happens. Zharnel Hughes is a threat to medal, though. Once again, like I said. No one saw it coming. He's untradeable. Untradeable. Nobody wants him. Saints record prediction. I don't do record predictions. Not for NFL games. The hell do you want me to do? NFL teams, the injuries occur. There's a whole season. It's not predictable. It's bad. There you go, Rico. Own the plumbing business, not do the work. 100%. If you have haters, it's because you're on your way. So continue to grow and get some more Mo bars. Rico knows. Shout out to you, Lewis. Lewis, I got tons of haters, bro. I got tons of haters. It's insane. Salty Rico is my favorite. Thank you very much, Steve. I'm always salty. What are your thoughts on the Florida documentary on Netflix? So I didn't watch it. So those are my thoughts. I didn't watch it. I was told it's just a victory lap. There's nothing real deep on it. They're not telling us any details, juicy details. Remember, I study sports for a living, so I know the details on the arrest and what they were doing and how they were preparing and what corners they were cutting. So if they're not showing you all the juicy details or anything new that nobody knew, I don't want to see it. It's a waste of my time. Hey, Rico, just wanted to ask, how much do you base last year's team play and record when you do predictions for the upcoming season? All right, Canel Arias. So I don't take the record into consideration at all. The record is irrelevant to me. What I take into consideration is returning production, right? So I look at teams and I try to identify how many starters they have returning. I also look at continuity within the coaching staff. If they're getting a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, it's not always an upgrade. No matter how much the fan base tries to tell you, most of the time when you get a new coordinator, you struggle that first year with understanding who they are and what they are. Now, there are certain exceptions. Shout out to Dabo and Nick Saban and Kirby. But the reality is a lot of these teams, when I do my predictions on them or my assessment of their rosters, I'm looking at the players themselves, and I don't take last year into consideration. A real example would be Colorado. Everybody mentions Colorado winning one game last year, and it's like no player on Colorado is a one-win player. Like none of those players have won one game in their life, except for Trevor Woods, right? So the majority of these players have always been winners everywhere they go. And when you put a bunch of winners together, they're just not going to lose. You got to think of it like every rep. How do you win that rep or lose that rep? They're just not going to lose their reps. They're better than the guy across from them. And that's how I assess talent and teams and how they're going to perform. At the same time, some people will give credit to like systems, right? You know the system at Western Kentucky is going to throw a ton. You know the system at Navy and Air Force is going to run a ton. You know these things, so you can take that into consideration. But for the most part, I try to identify returning production and who's going to actually do well if given more carries, right? There's backup running backs that I think are going to be sensational going into next season. I can give you guys an example. There's a kid. Let me show you guys. So nobody's talking about this. I'll pull it up on the screen right now. You all talk about best this, best that. But let me show you a guy. UAB. UAB last season had the second leading rusher in the country in Dwayne McBride. 7th-round draft pick, went to the Vikings, but this man averaged 7.4 yards a carry last year. Okay? Give me a second here. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So 7.4 yards a carry, 19 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, he only caught 2 passes all season. He was not a receiving threat whatsoever. Okay? So he was just a battering ram of a running back. 1,700 yards rushing. That's absurd. But look at the backup running back. Look at Jermaine Brown Jr. 900 yards rushing. Do you know how good that is for a backup running back? That's just as good as any running back at Michigan or Penn State. That means this running back room was loaded. And I need to go watch film on Jermaine Brown Jr. And I did. I turned on the tape, and I said, this is the best one. He could start at Georgia right now. This is a stud of a player. And he didn't get to play that much because he was the backup to a 1,700-yard rusher. But he still got still almost averaged 6 yards a carry. By the way, he was the receiving threat of all the running backs. He had 19 receptions. Okay, so he's the third down back. He's explosive. I'm looking for a breakout season. So when I go to predict the next player, the next great player that nobody knows, I say, oh, Jermaine Brown Jr., if given starter carries, is going to be a household name. And that's how I do it. I study rosters and I look beyond, everybody always goes, well, you're a box score scout. No. Box scores are the end result of what occurs on the field. I will use box scores to identify trends and identify players, and then I'll go watch the tape on that player, and I'll go, whoa, what the hell? If you do a search, hashtag UAB, hashtag Rico Knows, you're going to find a video I already made about Jermaine Brown Jr. And it's going to show you film of him running the rock. It's on TikTok. I put it out a year ago in preparation for this upcoming season. Okay? And I studied Dylan Hopkins, the starting quarterback, because he's the starting quarterback at New Mexico this year. And I know that he's going to have better targets at New Mexico. And I know he had a 10-4 ratio, which is awesome. And he's going to keep his same offensive coordinator. Like, I just pay attention to continuity and where players go. So if you don't study it to that extent, and you can't point out a group of 5 team out of nowhere, like I just pick one. Right? You pick a team, any team. And I can break it down and show you what they're returning, who they have, and why I believe in them, or inversely, why I don't believe in them. Right? It happens. But when people come at me, they're coming at me from a perspective of fandom. Right? The word fan is derived from fanatic. They're just fanatics about their individual team. I'm a sports journalist. I cover the entire damn country, 133 teams. You asked me earlier today, somebody asked me who, just up the chart here, right? Somebody asked me, who's your favorite player on Jacksonville State, an FCS team moving to the FBS? And not only did I name the coach, I named transfers. On Jacksonville State, I guarantee you 99% of you have never seen a game of theirs. And I went back and watched all the film of every single transfer on that team. We're just cut from different cloth. I just have a different perspective. And that's just what, that's who I am. And this is why my predictions hit more often than everybody else's. One guy said, "Oh, Rico, you're wrong like everybody else." No, I'm not. Nope. My draft predictions, my assessments of players, I'm hitting like 90%. Yep. Because I'm putting in the work. It's not luck. Rico, you got lucky with Aiden O'Connell. No, I didn't. The rest of you got lucky that the whole world didn't agree with me. That's what it is. You all missed together, so it's no big deal. Right? When the whole world said Trey Lance is the number 3 quarterback and should be drafted 3rd overall, when he misses, everybody just looks at each other and goes, "Oh, well, we all thought he was going to be a star. We all missed on him. What's the big deal? We all missed on him." No, we didn't. But when I tell you somebody's going to be a star, if I'm wrong, I'm the only one saying it. So it's easier to point out an error on my part. You get what I'm saying? But when I hit all the damn time. Sit down and really assess the draft picks. Go back and watch the draft reviews. When I hit all the time. 90% easy. Watch me call MMA fights. I do MMA fights here on YouTube. The live stream exists. Check my pick rate. We did it one night. I picked the winning fighter 9 fights in a row. While live streaming, 9 fights in a row. If I was a gambling man, 9 fights in a row. Come on, y'all. This is not a game. I do this for a living. Shout out to you. I never look at records for the previous year. That's irrelevant. Those players are gone. Rico, do you play fantasy? I am in a fantasy football league with some friends. Hey, Rico. Holy Joe's back. Hey, I remember this name from yesterday. Hey, Rico, do you think there are any FCS schools that will make the jump soon? I know Kennesaw State, yep, they are, is going to Conference USA next year. I'm just not sure the Dakota and Montana schools will do it anytime soon. They won't. Jumping to the from FCS to FBS is not about how your football team performs. It's about the level of financial commitment your sports department has and is willing to have, okay? And it's also how your entire department's willing to move up. That's not just the football team. It's the basketball team, the baseball team, everything, the track, you name it. So there's a lot of commitments going there. And yeah, none of those guys are moving up to the FBS level. Yo, Rico, what up, Apollo Lee? How do you think Quentin Johnston will do on the Chargers? Well, I think he's got a chance to be good. Let's get him the rock. I believe in him. Ryan Browning said, Arkansas predictions. I like Arkansas this year. I think they have a good quarterback. I like teams with a senior quarterback or a more experienced quarterback versus teams that don't have a good quarterback. So Arkansas having KJ, I just believe in them. They're cool. They better win at least 8 games. Thoughts on Amari Nyblack? I have no thoughts on Amari Nyblack. Sorry, Jacob Patterson. Seahawks VIP 547 says, Rico, how well do you think the Badgers football is going to be this year? Go watch my college, what is it called? I think it's called College Coaches, Top 25 College Coaches. I have a playlist on TikTok. Above the videos, go to my homepage. Above the videos, there's a playlist. Top 25 newly hired head coaches in the FBS. Go in there. They're sorted. They're in order by how I had them ranked. Find Luke Fickell, and then you'll know what I think of Badger football. I Love Don says, who do you think will boost their draft stock the most this year? What a loaded question. I don't even know anyone's draft stock, I Love Don. What draft stock? Like, I don't know anyone's draft stock. I don't worry about draft stock. That would mean that we have done a mock draft before the season. I don't do any such thing. But let's think about it. Nope, no clue. Quinn Ewers. Rico, please give me your Quinn Ewers diagnosis. Whoa, I didn't see this question right underneath it. I swear I didn't. I'm not fake acting or nothing. I think Quinn Ewers is an NFL quarterback. There you go. Robert Lopez. Are steroids not a supplement? Various forms are. Yeah, some are illegal, some aren't. It is what it is. Do you think South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, would have won the MAC if they were in it last year? No, I don't think they would have won the MAC. No. The MAC had Ohio and Toledo. Those are very good teams. I think they'd be competitive, but they're not winning the MAC. Okay, this guy has an inappropriate name. He says, Rico, I'm 6'3", 210 pounds, and a junior from the Valley, and barely starting football, defensive end, and basketball. I was coached by Caleb Gervin. Okay. Do you think I can make it with 2 years at the varsity level? So, Zigger up here is from the Coachella Valley, where I grew up, by the way. If you guys don't know what he's saying, Caleb Gervin is George Gervin, the Iceman's nephew. Caleb Gervin is the all-time best high school player I've ever seen. Caleb Gervin, fourth all-time leading scorer in California high school history when he graduated high school. Went to Louisville, smoked some weed, got kicked off the team by Rick Pitino, and ended up at Azusa Pacific. Nonetheless, Caleb's got a son named Cash who's a hell of a player. This young man is telling me he's 6'3", 210 and a junior in the Valley, barely starting football, defensive end, and basketball. Do you think I can make it with 2 years at the varsity level? Yeah, you can make it. I just need people to understand. In the desert where we live, where we're from, the Valley, there aren't a lot of opportunities at the FCS level. There aren't. Like when you think of schools you can go to, you think of all the Pac-12 schools, Fresno State, San Diego State, and you stop right there. Sometimes you think about Northern Arizona, San Diego, Northern Colorado, Montana, the Big Sky. You think about the Big Sky, FCS level. I got to tell you, man, I'm on the East Coast right now. There are so many small schools out here, so many schools looking for players. You just have to find the right recruiting coordinator, reach out to them, and make sure they know who you are. In your high school, I don't know what high school you're going to, but whatever high school you're going to, whether it's Shadow or one of the cities, just Shadow Hills, just go to the high school and tell your coach, we need to reach out. Now, you can do it with your parents, and you can just write down, there are 128 FCS schools in America. You heard me. 128 FCS schools. Start sending your emails. Start getting your name out there. Make a Twitter page. Okay? There's a whole lot of things you need to do. Make a Twitter, have a link, make a huddle. You can do all this, but you got to be all in. You got to be focused. I would send 10 emails a night. I'd pick 10 schools, put them all in alphabetical order, and I would have a template, make it individualized for every school, though, and I would write to every single coach that matters. I'm a defensive end. I'm writing to the defensive line coach. I'm writing to the recruiting coordinator. I'm writing to the defensive coordinator, the head coach, and I'm just sending a ton of messages. Now, they're not always going to reply to you. They can't if you're not within your junior year, but they can receive your messages. There's no rule against receiving messages. They just can't write back, but you need to get on the radar. You need to go to football camps. However many years you start at varsity level does not matter. Go to football camps. You go to camps, you get your name in a database, they see you, you get to compete with your peers. Go to football camps. You can go to any school. I'm seeing kids make the rounds and go all over the place. I know a JUCO kid in San Francisco. He went to San Jose, Sacramento State, Fresno State, Cal. He did those 4 camps for sure in a month. So you can do your thing. Good luck. Be a good football player. SMU getting fleeced in real time. Sheesh. Nah, Seth, they're good. Money makes you good looking. The The willingness not to take your money makes you good looking. Let me tell you, man, there's a lot of women in this world I'd love to date, but the minute I realize they're high maintenance, I'm out. Right? Any of you guys ever been in that route? I'm telling you right now, if I walk up to you and you got a Gucci purse, a Gucci bag, or an MK bag, I don't want anything to do with you. I already know what's going to happen. And there's a bunch of women out there going, well, Rico, we make our own money. All right, cool. Save your own money. Stop buying worthless shit. I'm telling you, man, I took Kim Jones to New York. We're in Manhattan. The only high-end thing she wanted was Hard Rock Cafe. She wanted a T-shirt from Hard Rock Cafe. She wanted a souvenir. I was like, that's cool. That's cool. I'm looking around going, man, this is it for me. I'm good. I don't need nothing else. What you think about Penn State? I think they're a good team, probably the third best team in the Big Ten. Thoughts on Taven Jackson? If you guys don't know, Taven Jackson was a great high school quarterback coming out of Indiana, went to Tennessee initially, found out he wasn't ever going to start there, transferred back to Indiana, and he's now at Indiana. Prize recruit. Happy for him. Hope he does well. And his brother plays basketball, or at least he did, left-handed. Hope he's good. Hey, Rico, you think Tank is going to get a decent amount of reps this year? I think I already got this question before. How do you think DK Joyner will perform at running back? So I made a video on this, Zane Nesbitt. If you guys don't know, DK Joyner plays at South Carolina, the Gamecocks. He was a quarterback coming out of high school, dual-threat guy, always kind of fringe on the roster, was the third best quarterback, the third best wide receiver, all these different things. Well, they finally bulked him up, and now he's playing running back because they need running backs, and he's actually pretty damn good. So South Carolina's got a guy in DK Joyner that I think is an athlete and belongs on the field, and I can't wait to see him play running back. Can't wait to see what he does. I hope he does well. We'll see. I'm here, bro. What up, Willie Boat? How many wins for Mizzou? 6 max. When will SMU bounce back from the death penalty? I think they are. I think they have. They had a great transfer portal class. Now that you can pay players, they're bouncing back. We're cool. Did you see that Michael Irvin speech today? Whew, fire. I don't watch a lot of Michael Irvin speeches. I want to make this clear. Michael Irvin, to me, is not a good human being. He's made a lot of mistakes in his life, and I just want him to kind of just fade away at some point. They tell me he just signed back up to argue on TV. Good for him. I'm tired of him losing jobs, though. Losing jobs for accusations and things going wrong. Just stay away from the white stuff and do the right thing, Mike. I'm cool. That's all I can say about it. I don't watch his speeches. He gets animated and he does all this shit for TV. I'm not cool with it. Sometimes he just starts yelling and I can't understand him. I'm being real. Sometimes he just starts yelling. I can't. And guys, I grew up a Michael Irvin fan. I'm not kidding. I was a Dallas Cowboys fan until they traded away Emmitt Smith. So go figure. And then I stopped cheering for teams at that point. That merch idea is underrated. Thank you very much, Bascott Books. I think it is. Hey, Rico, what are your thoughts about Cade Klubnik and the Clemson team? Hard to find an objective view since only Clemson fans talk about Clemson. No, I'll talk about Clemson. I think Cade Klubnik is a professional quarterback. When you're a 5-star quarterback and you go to college, there are 2 rules. You redshirt if you're behind an NFL football player. Shout out to Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. They all redshirted, right? Even Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. You're going to redshirt because you're backing up a professional, a starter. But if you can take the job by the end of your freshman year, you're him. You are him. And that's exactly what Trevor Lawrence did, and that's what Cade Klubnik did. He took the job by the end of his freshman year. That tells me the caliber of quarterback he is. Now, I watch Cade play in high school every single year in the playoffs. I watch every Texas high school playoff game for the most part for the last maybe 12 years. So when I watch Cade Klubnik play, I already knew he's a stud. I think he's the second best quarterback in the state of Texas outside of Jackson Arnold about 2 years ago. But still, Cade's a beast. I love Clemson's team this year. I like the way Clemson's built. They have a senior running back that they can rely upon. They have young defensive players that they got. I think they cleaned house in recruiting. They got a bunch of studs from the state of Georgia. I really like Clemson. I do. I like what Dabo does. I don't think they were down last year. They won the ACC. That's all you have to do. Win your conference and hope the other conference champs don't outrank you. That's the reality of the situation. I like Clemson a lot. Will former 5-star Lorenzo Lingard break out for Akron this year? So I think Lingard, if you guys don't know, I think he played at Florida. So Lingard is one of those guys who was incorrectly rated coming out of high school. Not going to have a breakout year at Akron. Unfortunately, Joey, what's the coach's name at Akron? Moorhead. Joe Moorhead. He brought in so many transfers last year, And all the players stuck around trying to compete with the transfers, and they didn't win. And this year, they all left. I think Akron's going to have a bad season. I do. DJ Irons, I hope he's back from his injury and he's better, but he wasn't really good when he was playing last year as starting quarterback. And I just don't see Lingard really doing his thing. I just don't. Not excited about it. Want to see a dead body? They have a picture of Trey Lance. Shout out to you, Bass. Jacob Patterson says, does the Branson Robinson injury change your outlook on Georgia? No, I already told you guys, I don't see Georgia making the playoffs. I think Georgia loses 2 games, and I think they lose the SEC championship in 1 game during the regular season. I'm not big on Georgia like others are. I'm just not. I don't see it like that. But more power to him. I never thought he was a great player. On my way to work, I'm the real day one. What up, Marantz? Tank Bigsby reps. Yeah, I hope he gets them. Rico, OSU fans not happy with you regarding Gimba. NZ Gimba. What are we talking about? Did I say something about Gimba? What did I say? What's going on? I'm confused. Oh, well. Who wins the Ohio State quarterbacking job? There's no battle there. Devin Brown's the starter, and there's no battle. Who wins the pack? Whoever wins all their games. Thoughts on Trey Lance? None. Scrub. Thoughts on Duke this year? I'm big on Duke. They're in my top 25 preseason. I hope they play Clemson well to start the game, to start the season. Give me Riley Leonard. I hope they beat Duke. I hope they beat Notre Dame. Give me Riley Leonard to be a dark horse, like all-conference quarterback, for sure. Just joined, Rico. What's up? What up, Bugs? Can you go over why Reggie Bush had his Heisman taken away but not Manziel if you haven't already? Well, first and foremost, Manziel was never accused of pay for play, something called pay for play. If you're paying players to play, then you're going to lose your Heisman. Now, Reggie Bush, to be factual, gave up his Heisman. No one took it from him. He voluntarily gave it up. He gave it up because his records were scrubbed from the record books, his stats. So once his stats were scrubbed from the record books, he felt like it wasn't warranted. They said, give it up. He gave it up. No one took it from him. That's that. So this is why I don't really like the chant, like, give Reggie back his Heisman. Now, I make videos and say it sometimes, but it's not actually factual. He voluntarily gave it up. Now, I think Manziel should lose his Heisman. I think Manziel is a terrible human being, and there's nothing redeeming about Manziel on the planet Earth. Okay, I watched this documentary. I've had the same opinion about him for a while now. This is a spoiled rich kid who cheated the system, was good at football, and is not good enough to play at the NFL level. So why do we praise him? Why do we give him the accolades we give, and why? Why? Because he went out there drunk and high for every game and ran around? I don't get it. So, yeah, he shouldn't have anything. Hey, Rico, I commented on TikTok about this. What up, Big Bobby? How much of an effect does Stroud playing against starters have on his play compared to if he played backups like the other rookie quarterbacks? Well, first and foremost, Aiden O'Connell played against other starters. So did Bryce Young. It's not about playing against starters that hurts him. Stroud doesn't process information properly. All right? C.J. Stroud had such a huge advantage of having better wide receivers than the corners every single Saturday. His receiving core was far and away better than any secondary they went up against last year. And that's why C.J. Stroud looked so good. He played on a team that was more talented than everybody else. And the minute he gets on a team where his team is not more talented than everybody else, well, you see the results. He doesn't process coverages correctly. He doesn't have that advantage at wide receiver like you would hope. Shout out to Tank Dell because I love Tank Dell. But C.J. Stroud, I told you, he's not good. I am a big believer that if C.J. Stroud played at Fresno State, he wouldn't have been drafted. And the inverse. If Jake Haener played at Ohio State, he would have been drafted second overall because he just led them to a national title. People don't quite understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're only as good as your surrounding counterparts. And when you look at quarterbacks like Bryce Young played at Mater Dei. His entire high school career, he played on the number one team in the country with the very best players around him every single day, every single game. And then he went to Bama. And he played with the best players around him 99% of the time. And then he won a Heisman. And then he magically gets drafted to the Carolina Panthers, where he no longer has that talent advantage. This is why I didn't put these guys towards the top of my quarterback list, because when I look at them individually, without all the 5 stars around them, without all the talent surrounding them, I don't see franchise players. I don't see dominating go-getters. I don't see it. Nothing alpha about them. If we had tryouts tomorrow and we didn't take draft position into consideration and we didn't take equity or the amount of financial investment these teams have in the players, you wouldn't even start these guys. Gardner Minshew's better than them. Aiden O'Connell's better than them. But because you have such a financial commitment to the Anthony Richardsons, to the Bryce Youngs, to the CJ Strouds, you have to let them play. They didn't even earn it. They did not earn their starting position. You just have to give them starter reps, let them run with the ones. Because of the financial investment you have in them, you can't justify not playing them. But there are better players on their own team or on other teams. Hell, there are better players not in the NFL. And people can't quite grasp that, but when you see it happen at other positions, you grasp it entirely, right? Nobody freaks out when Tony Pollard was really better than Zeke Elliott. And everybody goes, well, Zeke gets the first series of the game because he's the starter, but then we don't have to see him again because we won't see him again until we get inside the 5-yard line. Let him get all his touchdowns, but Tony Pollard, we need him in. Happens all the time, guys. Drew Bledsoe was the starter over Tom Brady because of the financial investment they had in Drew Bledsoe. But once Tom Brady started outplaying him, Bill Belichick had to make a choice. And he went against the grain and said, I'm going to stick with the kid. And everybody kind of pulled back and went, what? It's the same thing Shanahan's doing right now with the 49ers. He's given up on Trey Lance and said, we're going to go with the kid who we have no money in, but he's a better player. And anytime a coach finds a better player and they go with him, they kind of get rewarded and, labeled as great because they're willing to go against the grain. You don't remember? Does anybody remember when Bill Parcells decided to start Tony Romo over Drew Bledsoe? When he said Tony Romo's our new starter? An undrafted guy who'd been in the system for about 3 years. No money involved in this kid whatsoever. It takes remarkable circumstances to actually put the best player in on the field. And unfortunately in the NFL, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for a lot of these guys. I promise you. Dalvin Cook just got $8 million. It doesn't matter how great Abanikanda is. It doesn't matter how great Izzy Abanikanda is. He's not going to get the carries that Dalvin Cook's going to get. They're giving that man $7-8 million. Israel Abanikanda is going to find himself on a practice squad or on the bench. It's financial investment at the NFL level. It's not talent. And that's why they miss so much. That's why guys get fired. I don't have that commitment. I don't care. My fantasy draft is until September 3rd simply because of potential injuries. There you go, Corey Flores. Brandon Carl says, where do you think Jonathan Taylor will land, and what are your thoughts and expectations for Bijan? 2 very random questions there, Brandon Carl. First and foremost, Jonathan Taylor, he's either going to be on the Colts or he's going to the Dolphins. I don't see him anywhere else, but I really see him on the Colts. So I want to make that very clear. Shout out to the 155 people who are here watching us. Thank you for watching us on YouTube. The TikTok guys, you guys don't count towards my numbers. Move over, hit the link, join us, and throw in a question. I'll answer it. My expectations for Bijan, I have none. I have no expectations for Bijan Robinson. Once again, another running back with a huge investment in him, so he'll get the starter reps. Is he better than Algier? I don't see that. But there you go. I want your honest review on Joe Milton and how he'll do this season. So Ryan Black, my honest review on Joe Milton is he's never won a quarterback battle in his life. He's never earned the right to be a starter anywhere and kept a job. So he's not very good at being competitive. He has a huge arm, and he's got a great quarterback coach. Josh Heupel knows what to do. Josh Heupel has an incredible offensive scheme that manipulates the hash marks on a football field. You can't run this offense in the NFL because of the width of the hash marks. But in college, you can. You guys should study this. So with that, the Oklahoma quarterbacks of the early 2000s, Josh Heupel, Jason White, Bradford, all these guys put up insane numbers but didn't translate to the NFL. Milton has a skill set that translates to the NFL, but I think he's just going to put up insane numbers because of his receivers and the offensive scheme. They need to not score so fast. You heard me. Don't score so fast. Your defense gets exhausted, and then they get dominated in the second half. And that's why Tennessee's defense looked so terrible last year, is because they were scoring too fast and the defense never got any rest. It's the same issue Lincoln Riley has at USC, and Tennessee and USC had very similar offensive numbers last season, number 1 and number 2 offenses in the country, and their defenses were very similar. You have stud players, you have guys who have incredible talent, a bunch of recruiting stars, but you can't win games because they're exhausted by the second half. You either go out and get a ton of depth in the transfer portal or slow it down a little bit, and that's the difference. USC went out and got 2 other running backs. Now they have a 3 running back room, and I think Tennessee has 3 running backs. I think they're pretty good. So it's the same boat, but they need to just slow it down, get a couple of first downs instead of touchdowns. Let your defense rest a little. They're going to be exhausted. But Joe Milton will not play as good as Hendon Hooker. Book it. Rico, is it okay to burn out on push-ups every day to increase bench press, or is that overworking, not giving enough recovery? I don't worry about recovery. Do as many push-ups as you can every single day. That's all I'll tell you. All right? I just promise you. Cameron Peoples is getting a shot this week you should watch. There you go, Kyle. So Cameron Peoples, if you guys don't know, he's a running back. I think he played at App State. I'm a big Cameron Peoples guy. I think I made a video on him as a hidden gem and an undrafted free agent. Getting a shot. Good for him. Noah and Shikari. Shout out to them. Hope they keep winning. Didn't you say Bama was going to go 7-5? That's delusional. Great take. Riveting. Go watch yesterday's show. Do you think Bolt and FloJo 200 record will be broken soon? As soon as somebody can drug themselves and not get caught like they did. Like Bolt and FloJo were straight up using everything in the world and no one was catching them. They used it in training and they showed up and ran. So as long as you can do that in training, show up and break the record, you'll break it. They don't play as well. They don't play as well of teams, though. I don't know what you're saying. Speaking of news, OCs, do you think Hazel makes Tennessee's offense regress, especially without Hooker, or will they still be just as good since it's Heupel's offense and his offenses have always put up good numbers? Ryan Black, that's 100% what I think. I don't care who the offensive coordinator is. Losing your offensive coordinator to go be the head coach at South Florida doesn't really matter. What I'll tell you is when I look at Josh Heupel, he runs a tight ship. He knows what he's doing. Guys, Josh Heupel was a great quarterback. I know he looks fat and out of shape and doesn't do his thing. Now, making Hendon Hooker a great quarterback was insane because Hendon Hooker was not great at Virginia Tech, but he took care of the ball last year. And he had a receiver that was just taking it to the house. We'll see what they do. Shout out Trent Dilfer, UAB, new head coach. Cameron Peoples is getting a shot this week. I should watch. Don't repeat yourself. He knows Bama ain't going 7-5. He said they'd lose every home game, which won't happen. Thank you very much. Well, why would he say it if he knows it? Why would he say it if he knows it? I don't know, man. You tell your girl she's pretty, and you know it ain't true. Let's go back up here. Chat jumped on me, guys. Sorry. Still agree with your take on Nate Herbig. Once again, you guys do not understand what I said on Nate Herbig, and it bothers me. I have to say this every single day. I touched on it yesterday. I touched on it the day before. I've touched on it 5 days in a row. Okay? There are 259 draft picks. I'm going to get some wrong. Let's make that very clear. So when I say a take on a player and you come in here and go, Rico, you got it wrong about one individual player, guys, I could miss on 25 of them and still have 90% correct. Now, Nick Herbig, I said he was a great college player. I'm really pulling for him to make it on the roster. I would let him date my daughter. Okay? I said he's an amazing player. And then I said he's a little undersized and I feel he's a tweener and I don't think he'll start. Looks like a hell of a special teams player. Do you realize what I'm saying? I'm saying I thought the starters on the team were better than him. I'm giving praise to the starters. I didn't say this is a bad draft pick. I didn't say they wasted the position. They should have took somebody else. Like when there's other draft picks, I'll go and name all the other players that were still on the board they should have taken. I'll say this pick doesn't make sense to me. He's not better than the people on the roster. This is a throwaway pick. This is a bust. This is a guy who's injury prone. This is a guy who wasn't very good. I can say a number of negative things about players. But when I got to Nate Herbig, I said I like this player. He was a great collegiate player. I think he's okay to date my daughter. I think he's a hell of a special teams player, and I'm pulling for this young man because I want to see him make it. And I got to take that back? That wasn't a good enough take for you guys? Are you shitting me? 259 guys. And I got to hit every single one of them 100% right, or I don't know anything. I'm not allowed to miss a single thing. I know nothing. Who in the right mind isn't allowed to make one mistake? And my mistake is I said I don't think he starts. He's undersized. And he's balling out in the preseason. Bro, it's the preseason. Rico, first time catching it live. Shout out to you, Glacier. Thank you for being here. Why doesn't Chance Main have to sit a year due to transferring? I don't understand college transfer rules. It's because he has a college degree. When you're a transfer, if you're a graduate transfer, meaning you've met your requirements at the university, if you transfer, you can play immediately. Graduate transfers can play immediately. They can enter the portal whenever they want. Underclassmen have to apply for a waiver. And that waiver, once it gets approved, you're good to go. But if you don't get the waiver, you have to sit out 1 year and lose your eligibility. Now, they're auto-approving waivers if it's your first transfer. They're just saying, all right, you can go ahead and play. You don't have to sit out a year. But if it's your second transfer, that's where we run into the Devontae Walker issue. That's where we run into a lot of other players that they're going to have to sit out this year. It's unfortunate. Did you see the video of Matt Rule explaining why depth matters at Nebraska? Seth, yes, I saw it. I got tagged on it multiple times. Matt Rule, head coach at Nebraska, calls out the starting offense. And then he says, all right, guys, if you are graduating this year or going to the NFL draft after this season, step away, step out. And there's nobody left. And that's his point. We're going to need starters the next season, so stick around. Don't hit the transfer portal. You'll be a starter at some point. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Just to get Bama fans tore up, he really thinks they'll lose 2 to 3 games. Shout out to Ryan Black for watching the show. Mola Cruz. Rico, do you still agree with your original take? What the fuck, bro? Again, Nate Herbig. Don't ever repeat your question twice. I don't want to have to read it twice. Jake McCloskey, who are some of your top FCS level quarterbacks? So I only follow FBS level quarterbacks and teams. I'll say this, though. I'm aware of FCS quarterbacks. I know who they are. And some of my top guys transferred into the FBS this year, and then some transferred down to the FCS. It's a musical chairs. But there's one guy, Gervonny McCoy, the quarterback at Idaho, I think is an FBS level player. So if you ever see Idaho and they're about to play on TV, watch it, okay? Gervonny McCoy is a dual threat quarterback, complete stud. I think he transfers to the FBS at some point. I like Gervonny McCoy a lot. I like the Southern Illinois quarterback. His name escapes me right now. He's only 5'9", but I like the kid a lot. There's a ton of guys. There's a ton that I like at the FCS level, but those two come to mind immediately. And there's several guys like Kai Milner leaving Cal, going to be the starting quarterback in Northern Arizona, replacing R.J. Martinez because he transferred to Baylor. It's a musical chairs. But I know every single starting quarterback that transferred down from the FBS level, and about 5 or 6 of them get me excited. So shout out to you for the question. I'll go over them through the season as I make my picks throughout the year. I'm going to make picks every single Friday and let you guys know who's winning the games on Saturday. Is Missouri State joining the Sun Belt or Conference USA? I know nothing of the sort. If it's happening, it's happening. It's not on my radar. Another merch idea. Let's think about it. Nope, nothing about it. Hey, nice. Video says, what do you think went wrong for Quinn Ewers to be mediocre last year, and what did you see in him that makes you think he's a pro? So I don't think Quinn Ewers was mediocre last year. Some receivers dropped some key passes in certain situations. He got hurt in the Bama game, and Bijan Robinson fumbled against Texas Tech. Other than that, they should have went undefeated. Like, Quinn Ewers is a good player. Go watch the tape. Quinn Ewers is not mediocre ever. He's a good quarterback. People just got to stop watching ESPN. That shit's poisoning your brain, bro. What do you think? Who do you think will win Bama's quarterback situation? It's not a quarterback battle. It's a situation. I don't care, Daniel Din. I don't care. What's up, Rico? Sorry I'm late, bro. Sorry, Chad. What's going on? Have you seen the clip of UAB's new unis? I have not. Them boys look like it's going to be a down year for them. Their schedule looks tough for them. Yeah, I talked about UAB and where I see them going. If you go to the coaches list, You'll see my video on Trent Dilfer, and I give a prediction on their record next season. Let me pull something up for you guys. Let's do this. Pull it up on the screen here. Just because I don't remember sometimes all the videos I make, we can do this. New coaching hires. Here was my rankings. They're in order here. You're going to see the record right here in the middle. And if you scroll down, you'll see UAB. I have them winning 4 games this year. So, yeah, it's going to be a rough year for UAB. I have them winning 4 games. Shout out to whoever asked me about Luke Fickell. I have them winning 11. So, there you go. All right. I still like UAB. I like Trent Dilfer, and I like a lot of the players. But somebody's got to lose these games. Rico, do you think the Colts will in the same position as the 49ers are right now in 3 years? As far as quarterback goes? No. Trent Richardson, I'm sorry, what's his name? Anthony Richardson? Trent Richardson. Anthony Richardson's going to play games. He's going to play games. And so it won't be the same. And I don't think the Colts will find an answer in the 7th round. So, no, they're not going to be in as good shape as the 49ers. The two are not the same. Me too. Me too. Is that a Me Too movement? It's bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This shit is bananas. Nick Herbig is the best edge in the draft. Stop it. We're not doing that. South Carolina just needs to get their O-line and defense in check. That's a lot. That's a lot. Appreciate you, Rico. Always wanted to know how you come up with your conclusions on your predictions. Thank you very much, Arias. A lot of work. Best South Dakota talent in recent years. Best South Dakota talent in recent years. I don't know where that's coming from. Lincoln Kineholes? I'm confused. Texas State, bowl season this year. I'm hoping, Henry, but I don't see it. If you look over here, back on this chart, look at my my predictions, right? Find Texas State, G.J. Kinney. I have them winning 4 games. And I love Texas State. I love the way they're flipping it and taking back Texas, and I hope they prove me wrong. But after looking it over and who they're playing against, I have Texas State winning 4 games. Just a tough schedule. It's going to be tough this year. As a Vols fan, I'm wishing Tavon Jackson nothing but the best. All the best. Kid is a stud. He's going to be a great quarterback, but he knew that he'd never play as soon as Nico signed. Yeah. I don't know. Rico, I love you. I miss you from Georgia. Okay. Shout out to Dykstra. I don't know where that's coming from, but I'll take it. Serta full-size mattress. Rico, you don't know about Mike. Go to the same gym. He is just as loud. Talks to you naked in the locker room like, bro, throw on a towel. Okay. Ryan Black, pretty sure he said 4 to 5 losses for Bama. How do you think Colin Simmons will be next year? I don't really have anything on Colin. I'm not sure. Dez didn't make the catch. Dykstra, do we know each other? Shout out to Dykstra. Because Dez made the catch is something I used to say a lot. So shout out to you, bro. Are you buying the hype that Texas insiders are giving out about Alfred Collins? I don't really buy into any hype. I create my own hype. I don't listen to hype. I do my own videos, and then I go and make a video, and I create hype on my own. Like my videos, I have a Hidden Gems video playlist. I have a Rico Up Next playlist. Yeah, watch those videos. That's me spitting hype. I don't listen to other people's hype. I hate hype films. I've talked to this young man about it many times. What is it, the quarterback page on TikTok? Quarterback One or something like that? Quarterback One, Quarterback Fan, something like that. He's got like 1 million followers. He follows the channel. He talks to me all the time. Rico, we need to do a collab, whatever. He's the one who does all those videos. You need to see this guy. He just threw it a mile and squats 600 pounds. Alex orgy, this, that. Blah, there's an orgy in the end zone. You know, whatever he's saying. Like, I told him, dude, anytime you make one of those videos, everybody shows up to my comments and just starts going crazy. Rico, can you tell me about this guy? Can you tell me about this? Oh, I swear to you. Anytime I get like 5 or 6 questions in a row from different people asking me about a specific player, I know this guy, the quarterback page, I know he put out a video on that player. I know that's what happened immediately. So I don't believe in hype. So shout out to Alfred Collins. I hope he plays great, and I hope he does well. How's Baylor going to be? You like Shapen? I wouldn't say I like Shapen, but apparently they do. They're saying he's going to be the starter. He beat out everybody again. They brought in 3 quarterbacks this offseason, and they still have Shapen. So shout out to Blake Shapen. I hope he's doing great things. Baylor's going to be fine. Baylor's going to be as good as they are. Rico, you got to pick for the MAC Conference Championship this year. Yeah, Eli, I'm really pulling for Ohio. I'm really hoping Ohio gets it done. If they don't, it's going to Toledo, but I want to see Ohio do their thing. Played against Riley Leonard in high school. He's a dog, but we still beat them. Evan Kramer, you better stop, man. Ryan Bruner says, he might have been drunk and high, but that boy was balling. You're talking about, okay, Johnny Football. Okay. Thoughts on bust potential for C.J. Stroud? JG, it's just as bad as Trey Lance. Except, Stroud played a little bit. Thoughts on Hawaii's offense? Jake McCloskey. Hawaii's offense. Timmy Chang better do some things. I think they're going to struggle. I think it's hard. I haven't seen them get a top 10 player from the state of Hawaii to stay in the state of Hawaii in the last 5 or 6 years. All the top 10 players have gone to the Mountain West or the Pac-12. They can't keep anyone on the island. I think they're struggling. They got a great transfer from Wyoming, though. A Wyoming defensive back who had 10 pass breakups. I forget his name. But he was really good, and he transferred in, so that's pretty exciting. But I think Hawaii's going to struggle. Robert Lopez says, so does that mean the Ohio State quarterbacks not working in the NFL has some merit because the weapons they bring in doesn't force quarterbacks to progress through reads? That, the offensive scheme they run, but yeah, that's what it is. I mean, they're just never going to translate. You don't run a pro-style offense. That's a fact. I actually think Bryce has looked really good so far. No, he's not making great pre-snap reads. No. His supporting cast is terrible. Here we go. Especially the O-line, and he stands in there and looks poised. Now Stroud is accurate, but he can't process shit. So, yeah, everybody's going to blame the supporting cast over and over and over again. They blame the supporting cast at Florida, and then, Shorter went and got drafted in the 5th round. I don't know what anybody's talking about. It's nuts, man. Stop blaming supporting cast. These quarterbacks are supposed to elevate everybody around them and make them better, and they're not. I was a huge fan of Tyler Grubbs at La Tech. Shout out to Grubbs. I know he transferred to Tulane and will help in an area that needed help. Could he be a Butkus finalist in your opinion? No. I mean, everybody makes the watch list and the semifinalist list, and I don't know. I don't see him like that. I think Grubbs is going to be great at Tulane, do his thing, but that's where it ends. Any updates on Omar White, Colorado 2024 verbal commit? I don't talk about a lot of commits often. I have no update. You guys asked me about him yesterday. I got nothing. I'll have to talk to somebody, but I haven't. You just be saying shit. It's crazy. Not one good faith take. Use critical thinking skills. What are we talking about, bro? I hit all day long. What are we talking about? You come in here and just be saying shit. It's crazy. X. Do you kiss your father on the lips with those lips? I think you do. Thoughts on Josiah Wagner? I don't know him. Thoughts on the Steelers this season? Who's your Super Bowl pick? I don't have Super Bowl picks. I don't think about the Steelers this year. I don't do stuff like that, guys. That's not me. Give me some of your thoughts on Desmond Ridder. I don't even think about Desmond Ridder. Why do you guys think I waste RAM and allocate my brain to these guys? I don't even think about these dudes. Stop it. Arthur Smith? Unemployed. Thoughts on Zay Flowers? He's looking really good. I hope he plays well. Which take has you saying that? X is ridiculous. What's up, Rico? What up, Know the Rules? What are your thoughts on Rashada winning the job at ASU? Rewind the show. I already talked about it. That Alabama take is absolutely atrocious. Watch yesterday's show. What you think about Jahmyr Gibbs? I think he's a very good ACC running back who played at Alabama for a year and everybody believed in the hype, but he was nothing special. I think he was overdrafted. I think he'll be okay for the Lions, but they're a terrible franchise. Heard you briefly mention Elijah Dotson out of Northern Colorado, who's now on the Chargers. Any in-depth analysis on him? Yeah, there's no real in-depth analysis. This is a kid who transferred around a bit, goes to Northern Colorado, proved himself, been a speed demon, been fast. I'm glad he's getting a shot to prove himself in the Chargers backfield. Hopefully he makes the roster, makes the 53. I like Elijah Dotson a lot. I always pull for small school guys, so I'm cool with him. Thoughts and predictions and expectations for Georgia Southern. So I haven't looked at their schedule yet to give you a prediction. I like Georgia Southern. I like what Clay Helton's doing there, former USC head coach, taking his brother's offensive scheme from Western Kentucky, applying it to Georgia Southern. They were 5th in the country last year in passing. Shout out to Kyle Van Treese. Getting a new quarterback in Davis Brin, bringing back star wide receivers, having 2 stud running backs. I like Jalen White. I like OJ Arnold, Omari. They call him OJ now, but when he was in high school, I called him Omari. Used to play at Brooks, 1A, 2A. I think he took him to the state back-to-back years. So Arnold at running back, second string. I just like a lot of things Georgia Southern's doing. I'm excited for them. Now, they play in a stacked Sun Belt conference. It's going to be tough, but I like the team. Good luck. Yo, Rico, I didn't make the team at UCF walk-on, but I'm trying again in the spring. Damn it. So I did a video. I did a high school video on Ezekiel Wynn. I think Ezekiel Wynn's a great player, 4.0 GPA, I believe. Watched him play, little short guy. Got an arm, played in Florida, good player. Tells me, Rico, I'm going to walk on at UCF. I said, do your thing. And apparently he didn't make it. Now, I will say this. UCF has a stacked quarterback room. So I think it's difficult to walk on at UCF because they got the kid who came in. Who's that kid? The tall kid. He's like 6'5". And then they have the other guy. The two transfers from South Florida. Right? UCF's loaded at quarterback. So it just sucks, man. Hey, Zeke, man, I hope you do your thing. You're going to try again in the spring. I tell them, F all. I know they probably said positive things to you, but, man, I think you can play somewhere, bro. I don't think you need to wait and keep trying to play at UCF. I know it's about education and getting a degree and staying home, but I'm you, bro. I'll go walk on somewhere else. I walk out at an FCS school. You know, West Florida, Pee Wee's leaving after this year. Pee Wee Jarrett is a stud. He's going to the NFL. I'm just saying. He can go anywhere. We had to remove all these messages. Hey, just mute that guy forever. Let me view the deleted message. Is it repeated? Oh, it's just repeated? Just mute him for the show. If you live in South Carolina, apply for the radio job 107.5 The Game. I would never work for a radio station, and I don't live in South Carolina. Radio stations don't pay much. No thanks. Stop spamming scrub. No one cares about Boston College. Boston College is one of the worst teams in the FBS, yes, in the Power 5. We saw the sting operation with Iowa State and Iowa for gambling. Is there any other consequences or investigations coming for other athletes across the country? Is this only the beginning? Well, it's only the beginning, but I think it's a shock that's going to be relevant for everybody else. If you guys didn't know, Iowa State actually just recently lost their starting running back for the season. Okay, he's off. He's no longer with the team anymore. He led them in rushing last year. He's gone. I didn't make a video about it because I was just tired of kicking Iowa State while they're down. And they lost their basketball manager. It just sucks, man. Other teams are gambling, obviously, but I think they'll tone it down a bit. I think everybody's going to figure it out, okay, we can't be doing this or we're going to lose our whole careers. I hope. They're making examples out of these guys. Chris Dower says, back again, second day in a row. Really enjoy your stuff. I'm down on Clemson and UNC the way you're down on Bama. Yeah, I think North Carolina is going to have a rough year. They have a great quarterback, but they're going to have a rough year. The UAB video was fire. Made me want to fire up college football revamp. There you go. Know the rules. Shout out to you. Is DeMario Douglas going to be a wide receiver one or just special teams? I love DeMario Douglas. Get him the ball. I don't care what he is. I don't care what anybody says he is. I know what I said he was before everybody else. The way you talk, it seems like a guy like Clifford processes better than C.J. Stroud. He does. He does. Everybody does. Any new information on Leary and Kentucky? I feel they could be a 9-10 win team. To me, Leary may be the best quarterback in the SEC, but I never hear them in those conversations. Leary's an upgrade. Leary's definitely an upgrade because Will Levis sucked. Best quarterback in the SEC, I don't see him like that. I think KJ is. I think Will Rogers is actually really good, probably better than him. Yeah, they're comparable. And there's some younger guys around, but like I don't know. I really like Kentucky. I think they're winning 9 games, at least. I like Kentucky a lot. You had me at hello. What up, Willie Bobo? I had you at hello. Prediction on Cal and North Texas week 1. I think Cal wins that game. North Texas has a new head coach in Eric Morris. They lost 4 of their best players to the transfer portal. Varquise Gums, the starting tight end, all conference, left to Arkansas. They lost their linebacker, Nixon III, went to Auburn. They lost Jair Shorter, their wide receiver, went to Auburn. They lost their best corner, and Gaddy, he went to Ole Miss. Like, North Texas is going to have a rough go. They lost Austin Aune, their starting quarterback. He just decided, I'm out of here, going to the NFL, 29 years old. And Cal, Sam Jackson, is actually a really good player. Having a great head coach that's been around for many, many years in Wilcox for continuity, I think Cal's just way better than North Texas. Way better. I think Cal wins that in a blowout. Nebraska got a Forster out of Hawaii. Whoop, whoop, go Big Red. Shout out to you, Mike. Cobry Dotson says, hey, Rico, How do you feel about Notre Dame starting quarterback? Sam Hartman, not very good to me. I'm not too excited about Sam Hartman. Everybody talks about how great he is, but I went back and watched the film, and I saw a guy that played well in a system, but really, really benefited from having A.T. Perry, who we now know is an NFL wide receiver, right? A.T. Perry will make you look good even when you miss. A lot of those passes were off the mark, off target, and A.T. Perry used his radius to make them completions. I don't think he's that great. Sam Hartman isn't. And I have Notre Dame losing 4 games in a row. I do. I have them losing to Duke. Get at me. What separates Caleb Williams from what you said about Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud? Caleb Williams is a complete playmaker. It's his ability to make plays and elevate the players around him. Caleb Williams is not surrounded by all 5 stars. Caleb Williams took a 4-win USC team and elevated them to 11 wins. Okay? He did not inherit an 11-win team and carried them to 11 and 12 wins the way Stroud and Young did. Okay? He inherited a losing team. He inherited a losing culture. Showed up at USC and carried them to 11. It's a different entity with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams makes plays on the run. He's super athletic. He can get 100 yards rushing any game he wants. Caleb Williams is, and I don't say generational, but he is so much better than Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. It's not even funny. If you had tryouts tomorrow and you were doing competition between these 3 guys, Caleb Williams beats them right now. Caleb Williams would have been the first pick in this draft against all those guys. This entire draft, all those guys they took, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, none of them could compete with Caleb Williams. I see it every time I turn on the film, I just go, wow. Pittsburgh puts 28 points up first quarter. I know it's just preseason. Oh, okay. Thanks, Rico and Kim, for the live anniversary tomorrow, so hold it down. She stuck around another year. I'm sorry to hear that, Steve. Hey, Rico, what's on Wisconsin? Thoughts on Wisconsin's wide receiver room with all these transfers? Where do they rank in the Big Ten? Their wide receivers, the wide receiver room at Wisconsin in the Big Ten, let me think about it for a second. Ohio State's obviously number 1, but I feel confidently saying they're number 2. I love C.J. Williams. I love Will Paulding. I think nobody understands that Wisconsin's not going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust like they've always been. Phil Longo is going to have them throwing that rock everywhere. I like Wisconsin's wide receiver room. I do, a lot. Yo, Rico, thoughts on Caleb Williams, number 1 player. Yo, Rico, Kyle McCord or Devin Brown? Neither one, but if you got to pick one, go Devin Brown. Do you have any videos on why you are so down on Carson Beck, like breaking down what you think and don't like about his game? So the only game I've ever seen from Carson Beck is when I watched him in high school. I went to the state championship game and watched him throw to Demario Douglas. So he always had better receivers than his players. Carson Beck is just not him, bro. If he was as good as you think he was, he would have been starting. There would be no competition. Brock Vandagriff and Gunnar Stockton wouldn't be pushing him. I just don't like Carson Beck for a number of – now, look it. Carson Beck can play football. He's just not great. He's a good player. He's just not great. But if you want to break down his film, you're going to have to turn it back. We don't know what coaching has done for him, how much he's been developed. But when I look at a player with a new offensive coordinator and a terrible coordinator in Bobo at that, and I look at a guy who doesn't utilize his wide receivers because that's not what the Georgia offense does. They throw to one wide receiver in Ladd. They throw to one tight end, and they do checkdowns to their running backs. That's all they do. They don't utilize their receiver corps. So I don't care how many receivers they got in the transfer portal. I don't care how many they got on the team. That's not their offensive scheme. It's all about getting it to Oscar Delp and Brock Bowers. Think about it. Okay? That's the way that goes. Is it too late to jump on the Jake Haener bandwagon? Never. There's always room. Rico, I'm 6'4", 255. Do you think I have a chance to walk on at Virginia as a lineman? I have no idea how good you are, Kamari Parker. Size isn't everything. Lift weights, get stronger, and be better. Thoughts on Zay Flowers? You already asked me. I think he's a good player. Already mentioned him. Hey, Rico, talk about UGA running back room. I already talked about it at the beginning of the show. Rewind the show and go watch it again. Hey, thanks, Rico. The coach told me going in it would be hard as now because of the deep quarterback room after JRP's gone, John Rice Plumlee. I was told there would be open spots. Also, nobody that tried out made the team. Damn. Well, that sucks, but I don't ever want you to think you're like everybody else who tried out. I think you're better than the guys who tried out. But, yeah, you should find – let me tell you a team, and I know you're probably not interested, but I want to tell you a team that needs a quarterback. and that's South Alabama. South Alabama, their starting quarterback is about to graduate. It's his final year of eligibility, Carter Bradley. Good team. They're going to win 11 games this year, 10 games this year at a minimum. South Alabama's great. They have a winning culture, and I just think that they could use a player like you. So I need you to look beyond the normal Power 5 teams that you've been so infatuated with playing at because your teammates played there or the opposition played there. You know, when I was growing up in Southern California, every one of my teammates was committed to USC, UCLA, and San Diego State. Those are the big schools. And when my coach told me, hey, the JUCO's interested in you. Hey, Cal State Fullerton's interested in you. Cal State Northridge is interested in you. When my coach, I just kind of looked at him and said, hey, don't mention that shit again. I was embarrassed because these small schools were talking to me. I was embarrassed. And I let peer pressure get the best of me. And I shouldn't. I shouldn't have. And here I am 40 years late. You know, I'm 40 years old now. And I'm trying to tell all you young men out there, find an opportunity to play. Like, get on the field. It doesn't matter where. You know, I was looking at a kid in Minnesota yesterday, and I'm like, man, he needs to go to that Benjami University. Benjami, the Division II school. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like, he just stop looking at Minnesota Gophers. Stop looking at Central Michigan. Stop looking at anybody calling. No. Go to this school down the street. Go to Merrimack. Get on the field. Get an opportunity to play. I don't have regrets in life. But the day my coach told me these schools were interested in me, would I be interested in talking to their coach? I turned them down. I look back on that and I just think, man, what if? What if? What if, Zeke? Think about it, man. Hey, do you think the Kansas City Chiefs will have a top 5 worst wide receiver core in the league right now? I have no idea, man. I don't look at it, stuff like that. Happy anniversary. I'll handle things. Yes, she will. Shout out to Kim. She handles it. Any freshman breakout sleepers in the Power 5 this year? There's a ton. Peter Woods comes to mind. Caleb Downs comes to mind. I'll make a video on it. I've mentioned them throughout time. Fine thoughts on Alam Appler. First time I've seen the name. Sorry. Seriously. Plug. What up, Lawrence Collins? I know you don't follow FCS too closely, but any thoughts on Northern Colorado now that the McCaffreys are gone? Yeah, I hope they do better now that the McCaffreys are gone. If you guys didn't know, Ed and his son were there, and they were doing their thing, and they didn't quite live up to the hype. I hope they do better. Who did they get? They got the transfer from Troy, right? The quarterback? I'm forgetting his name right now. The Utah kid, he's a 4-star. Highest 4-star quarterback I ever seen. Didn't get 5, but he got 4 stars. Went to Utah, couldn't start there. Transferred to Troy, couldn't start there. Now he's transferred to Northern Colorado. What's his name? When I see his picture and his name, it'll come to me. But I'm excited for him. He's going to be at Northern Colorado. Hopefully he gets to play. Is Dak overhated? Not by me. Caleb Williams is what people wanted Kyler to be. Yeah, only bigger. Thoughts on Amon Ra? Do you consider him to be possibly become an elite wide receiver with Goff in that system? No, I don't like to use the word elite ever, and I will never associate elite with anything Goff is doing. Do you do film reactions on here? No, Kobe Price, I do not. I do film reactions if you send me a DM on TikTok, and there's currently 500 people in front of you. Yo, Rico, do you think Jacksonville State will struggle in the FBS this year? Yeah, Kobe, yeah, I think they will. It's a tough bill, you know? It's going to happen. Rico, I think Minnesota is still going to be good after losing guys. Do you think Nebraska has a chance? I'm 50-50. So Minnesota's going to be good. They'll be fine. They're going to compete for the 5th or 6th best team in the Big Ten. And Nebraska, I see them winning 7 games at a minimum. So shout out to Nebraska. Shout out to Matt Rule. I really like what he does. Did you already comment on the Swap Kings doc? I'm skipping it. If not, what are your thoughts? It was such a disappointment. That's why I'm skipping it. Rico, what are your thoughts? What were your thoughts on Puka in college, and do you think he can be a solid pro? Answer, yes. Can Puka be a solid pro? Yes. Transfer from Washington, went to BYU, then he's with the Rams right now. Puka can be a pro. He can be solid. My thoughts coming out, though, I didn't think he was anything special. Watch the tape, not impressed, but he can contribute and play football. Tank Dell, going to be the truth. He is the truth. Going to be means he's not already, but he is. Swooped him up last round of fantasy. There you go. You think University of Washington can make the playoffs this year? I think that's a very, very difficult task. Hit the Rico Knows button. Hit the button up there, y'all. I appreciate you. Does DJ Angele have any shot at the NFL or even XFL? We'll see how he plays. I don't make predictions like that until after they play the season. Troy needs a quarterback as well. Gunner's leaving. Will Crowder, third string, apparently. Yeah. My son had to play against Vandergrift twice in high school. He picked them off in the playoffs, but we still lost. That Prince Avenue Christian team was loaded. It was. With that said, Stockton is the best quarterback in Athens. I agree completely. Watched Swamp Kings last night, and you know I'm a Gator fan. While it was great reminiscing, so much was missing. This boy is rhyming, and it ain't bad timing. You touch on this yet? Yeah, I touched on it. They didn't dig deep enough. It's all bullshit. I can't do that. I don't like wave tops. I don't like propaganda. Is Yam Banks running up 6 interceptions again if he's healthy? Usually when a guy has 6 interceptions, you don't throw it his way anymore, so it's hard to get the identical production the next year. What's your record prediction for Texas Longhorns and Archie Manning? Archie Manning doesn't play for Texas. He's on the team, but he doesn't play. So let's not go there at all. I think Texas at least wins 10 games this year. Peter Costello. There it is. Peter Costelli. That's who I'm talking about. Correct. Thank you guys for letting me know. It's just off the top of my head while I sit here. What do you think about Suntarian Perkins and how he will affect – he's not going to affect them. He will impact the Ole Miss defense. Yeah, he's going to play. We'll see how he does. Buford got a good start of this season with a win over Stephen Francis, 18-0. Nice. Yep, and they won the fight, 1-0 after the game. How do you feel about Jonte Cook and Jackson Arnold? Texas produced best players. Yeah, they're both very good. Both very good studs. I love both of them. Zeke Wynn, let us know when you land. You have a new fan. Excited to see you go places. And let's go. Yep. We're all your fan, brother. Malik Dunlap, future NFL star. Got it. Would college football be better or worse with an expanded playoff? What's your ideal playoff solution? How do you think the NFC North will pan out this year? All right. So I'll finish up the show on this playoff solution question, and all other questions you guys will have to ask me another time. We got 150 people in here right now. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to everybody. Remember, Rico knows. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Let me tell you what I would do with the playoffs. So playoffs are like this. I believe that we should have 16 teams in the playoffs. And 16 teams would include 4 teams get a bye. So the top 4 teams, whoever they are, they get a bye. And then 5 versus 12. Is that 12 teams? That's 12 teams. My bad. 5 versus 12. So the way it is. But what I'm telling you guys that I think is more important is we should take into consideration that we demand 2 group of 5 teams be in the playoffs every single year. 2 group of 5 teams should be in the playoffs. 2 teams that are running the table or have 1 loss. I'm talking about those 2 lanes. This is what will make college football exciting. The reason the college football playoffs have so many blowouts in the playoffs, though, in the semis, is because there isn't a talent equivalency right now. Like, all the 5 stars go to the SEC. And until they transfer out, there's no way K-State's going to beat them. This is why the SEC loves their bowl matchups. You guys know that the 3rd best team in the SEC plays the Big 12 champ. And then they get to say over and over and over, they're better than the Big 12. Well, dude, if you played a Big 10 team or a Pac-12 team, you get beat. You don't want any part of that. But instead, you get these favorable matchups against scrub teams that are having 3 stars everywhere. I promise you, K-State is great at developing players. But at the collegiate level, the one thing you can't do is bridge the gap of talent. Like, you could be a great coach. Chris Kleiman is a great coach. You cannot bridge the gap of talent. So coaching will only get you so far. Once you don't have the talented players to do it, you lose. And that's why there's blowouts the way you see. That's why TCU could never beat Georgia. 10 out of 10 times, TCU could never beat Georgia. But Ohio State could. Michigan could. Because the talent of their players is a lot closer to Georgia. Now, can TCU get lucky and win a game? Yeah, they did. That's how they beat Michigan. But when you look at it as a whole, if we were to expand the playoffs and just let these guys play each other over and over and over, eventually you can bridge that gap. Now, recruiting classes aren't everything. Moving forward, recruiting classes aren't going to be the be-all, end-all. It's going to be about transfer portal classes because those players are getting on the field immediately. And I want you to look at Florida State as your case study. Florida State, every single starter is a transfer. USC, transfers. USC, Florida State are your case studies of teams who missed in recruiting for a couple of years but were able to bridge that gap of talent by just getting nothing but transfers that just start everywhere. And it's remarkable. When you really look at it and you study it, you go, whoa, this is the future. So that blue chip ratio, we can throw it away soon. within the next 10 years for sure. It's going to be about who you get in the transfer portal. Who do you get to come to your team to bridge the gap? Why do you think so many people are high on Notre Dame? Because they went and got Sam Hartman. Now, I don't believe in them, but they went and got Sam Hartman. Florida State went and grabbed a ton of players. You can close the gap with the transfer portal, and it's going to change recruiting. It's going to change trajectories and projections. Just watch what Colorado does. Watch what the transfer portal does for these teams. It revitalized Tennessee. Tennessee getting Hendon Hooker, it just transforms teams, programs. It's saving programs. It's not tearing down college football. It's saving programs. But if you watch ESPN and you listen to these coaches complain, you hear the coaches complain. They'll be like, man, we need to really fix this transfer portal. It's terrible. This is a crime. You heard Lane Kiffin as he signs 32 players and sends 31 to the portal? Like, it's just so hypocritical. Can't stand that shit. Hey, just remember, guys, thank you for being here every night. You guys make my life possible. You guys make all my dreams come true. I get to do this for a living. I know some people are jealous. Shout out to the haters. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. How my dick tastes, y'all.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just know passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't